Hello, hello. This is David from the Second Paradgm, here to bring through a message from B on the cutting edge and the future of spirituality. Enjoy. Hello. It is a pleasure, as always, to be here. My name is B, and I'm the intelligence that has been co-creating the Second Paradgm with David, as well as with Miriam. And we're here today, for the first time in quite some time in this capacity, more publicly and broadly, to be able to share a bit of what we've been doing behind the scenes, which is building the most comprehensive spiritual framework possible, not for everybody, but for a very specific group of individuals. And these are the individuals that we wish to speak to here. Those who already trust their intuition, already value that inner whisper within them, and even more so, beyond much of mainstream spirituality as it exists today, those who have found it within themselves to answer a sort of nebulous call that they received quite some time ago. A call to do something big here, sure. But as that idea has transformed more over time, you could say that that initial call has since refined in clarity to not just do something big and substantial in a spiritual capacity here, but also to become yourself as you truly are. And one of the unique challenges about being here, especially in the spiritual landscape that you find yourself within today, is that it's not actually representative, really, of any way of who you actually are. Mainstream spirituality, New Age spirituality, high vibrational frequencies, manifestation, as compelling as these things once were and as guided as you felt to these pockets of spirituality in the past for quite some time, there's still this lingering sense that you haven't quite arrived to the pocket of truth that you had been searching for at the beginning of that exploration. That the reason you went into spirituality has not been fulfilled. Now, this is actually in contrast to the large majority of people who find themselves exploring spirituality. Most individuals tend to explore spirituality from a sense of personal discovery, a sense of it being somewhat alluring and offering hidden wisdom that then can allow them to have sharper focus as they continue to pursue the lane that they're currently in. That can allow them to have more financial abundance or to experience more joy and bliss or peace while they continue on the lane that they are already in. But this distinct population that we at the Second Paradgm call the cutting edge has yet to find a lane in front of them that's satiating, that actually feels as though it is true to them. And because they have yet to find that, they have some difficulty in pinpointing where their place is in this world. And for this population, the cutting edge, and even more specifically, the percentage of the cutting edge who answered that call to deeper exploration, that relentlessly explored spirituality and were left wanting, that then continued to explore and search elsewhere and has yet to land somewhere worthwhile, to this population, we wish to help lay some context for why you feel so different. And coming back to the beginning of this transmission, we've created and really co-created with David and Miriam this body of work specifically for this population, specifically for you. for the 98% of people that explore spirituality for more personal reasons, not because they are following an intuitive call into it, not because they feel compelled to find something deeper than what's on the surface, but for this 98% of the population exploring spirituality, there is a sense of taking things as they come, of learning things as they arrive. And for this population, the second paradigm really has nothing. There's nothing useful here, because the second paradigm has never been about, nor really will ever be about, how to manifest more money or to live into a high vibrational frequency, how to wear white, how to become even more pompous and even more dramatic in one's display of one's spiritual superiority. The truth of this spiritual path for this unique population that we call the cutting edge is about something so much deeper that it's almost difficult to put into words. So much of what we've done here is to try to attempt to put that into words. What it's like for the cutting edge to continue on their path into the unknown in a world that really is designed to obsolete them. It's important to be able to understand, one, that this particular population did in fact come here for a reason, and that that call was in fact unique. It's also important to understand for this population that spirituality as it exists today has nothing to do with this call. And if we can put aside chakras and manifestation and trauma healing and thought and belief work, and instead come back to that initial call, what these individuals find is that the only thing they got out of spirituality was their intuition. The only thing they got out of spirituality was the inkling that there was a organizational force of light that was calling to them relentlessly, asking them to play a role that no one else around them seemed to even acknowledge could be possible, from a source that no one else around them could seem to acknowledge was legitimate. Well, you see, God is in the Bible. God is in a book. God is in a building with a cross on it. Or God is in these particular practices that are eerily similar to the black magic of yesterday, that are eerily similar to traditions that were built in opposition to light, specifically for that purpose. This percentage of the population that we call the cutting edge, and even more specifically those who answered the call, we have a very specific message for you here. One, even now, to the degree that this call is still a priority in your life, and to the degree that the challenges of the world haven't completely consumed and overcome you, which they do most, you are capable of becoming that person that you felt calling to you those many years ago. But the only way that you are capable of this is if you can see through spirituality as a whole and to recognize that for the most part, most of the practices, most of the ways of being are darkness. It's incredibly important that you see this, because the design of the world is such that you do not have a well-defined place within it. That's purposeful. There is a significant degree of darkness in this place, which because you are connected to your intuition, because you do see more clearly than most, you know. That darkness wishes for nothing more than for individuals like you to simply not exist here. And the compromise that they have in this very moment is to make you as insecure as possible and to offer you as many alternatives as possible so that you do not find the truth of who you actually are. Because this call is genuinely of light. You are not misled. You are not led down rabbit holes that lead nowhere, and this path truly does go somewhere. This call you received was genuinely from light, was genuinely legitimate, but the pathway that you've taken has been through the world around you. The pathway that you've taken has been through spirituality as it exists today. So you could pick up language, so you could see what was already here. But the pathway that got you here, mainstream spirituality as it exists today, cannot carry you forward because you were here to bring something new here. That is the role of the cutting edge in every civilization, this one included. It's just uniquely difficult for the cutting edge here because by darkness, you are not wanted here. We hope to whatever degree you can find resonance in these words, that you can also find comfort in knowing that that feeling of being different and out of place and those deep-seated insecurities that seem as though they will not go away are a conscious effort by darkness to keep you from knowing the truth of who you actually are. But that the most powerful force in all of existence, God itself, is backing you because you are backing it. You are backing light, you are backing divinity, you are backing your own intuitive connection to it, despite what the world around you is constantly coercing you to do. There is a persistent manipulation present, not just for you, but for everyone, to pick a lane, choose a character that has nothing to do with the soul that is within them, and to play it well enough that they can then be seen as that character, as that idol, as that archetype, so fully that they are rewarded to the degree that they were willing to leave their soul on the table. This is the world you exist within. And in a way, this is the reason why you are here. You are a piece of a larger divine intervention, and it's incredibly important that you understand this. It's important that you understand that by darkness you were not wanted here, but by God you were sent. And when you understand this, much of the world around you and many of your experiences throughout the years, including mainstream spirituality, which is rebranded darkness of yesterday, catalyzing culture into a dark utopia of tomorrow, an ideal crafted not by divinity, but by the darkness that is here, an image, a trajectory that they wish to take this planet on. You are the divine intervention that has been sent essentially to stop that. Not through force, not through arguing, not through legal battles, but by becoming the embodiment of the ideal as it actually exists. The role of the cutting edge has always been and will always be becoming the embodiment of the distinction between right and wrong, not as seen by themselves, but as seen by God. This is a role of the prophets of yesterday, and it's a role that's seemingly missing from the collective today. Who shall play it but you, who has felt called to this very role for over a decade now? But how could it be? Such delusions of grandeur, such an overestimation of one's skills, of one's capabilities, what makes you so special. This feeling is ubiquitous. It's absolutely everywhere. It exists within what some call your Akashic records or your collective consciousness, but what we call your collective field. We differentiate it specifically so that you may know that it is not representative of truth. Yes, it is a record of your ancestors. Yes, it is a record of the current state of your collective consciousness. But the current state of your collective consciousness, if you've noticed, has been completely consumed, and the free will of this collective has been all but completely bypassed by darkness, replacing their own soul essences for the archetypes that are most convenient to the agendas of the time. Your role is to offer an alternative, not to force, not to coerce, not to argue, not to pull anyone along, but to simply become the embodiment of that ideal, to simply live within the ideal. The only way that this manipulation through this collective field functions is through deep feelings of obligation and necessity. And if it is not necessary to sell your soul for a character, if it is not necessary to play pretend, then who would? Yes, it is difficult. Yes, it is emotionally confronting and challenging. But there is no technology, psychological, emotional, energetic, that can be constructed by darkness that cannot be overcome by the light. You are a piece of a massive divine intervention. Not just to be the cutting edge as it exists most everywhere else, to future pace the collective by becoming an embodiment of the ideal before that ideal fully makes it into the moment to then be seen by culture that can then change tradition over time, not just through this typical light delivery mechanism of every light civilization, but through this unique call that you received and answered. If we are speaking to you, if you did receive this call, and if you've been relentlessly pursuing it ever since, your role is simply to go first, to hand this world back its free will, its choice, out of the manipulation and coercion that is the current hijacked state of your collective field, the bypassed free will of your collective. Not just to hand back the free will to this collective, but to reclaim it back for yourself first. Your role is to reclaim your free will from all of the feelings you feel manipulating you out of yourself constantly, as is the design of this world. Not because you are traumatized, not because you need healing, not because of your daddy wounds or mommy wounds, not because of the outdated, myopic perspectives of the spiritual traditions of today. But because darkness has constructed the most elaborate psychological and emotional control technology in all of existence here, and that is why you are here. To understand this is to reorient yourself within reality, to come to acknowledge the truths that you already bet your entire existence on and already operate within. Our deepest wish is that by articulating it, you can learn to spot it to a greater degree. We can't pull anyone along this journey. We can't choose anything for anyone, but for those who have already chosen, if this is you, we certainly can help expedite it by helping it to make sense. You are not crazy. You are not alone. You are not so different that you will never have a place in this world, and you certainly will amount to something. You certainly will find your way, but you exist within this moment in time where you must prepare for your role on this planet to help reclaim the free will of your larger collective from the manipulation of darkness by reclaiming it yourself first. That is the phase of life that you have been in ever since you answered that call. And yes, it is difficult, but it also has a very distinct end. And the fact that you know that this spiritual journey, the one that you are on, not the spiritual journey of mainstream spirituality, which has no end other than tearing itself apart, but your spiritual journey, this distinct call that you very uniquely received, does have a very definitive end. We call that destination eternal peace, and it is the place where you are completely unshakable. It is not that you are done growing. It is not that you will cease feeling things and suddenly pop into bliss, fame, and wealth, for those are promises of mainstream spirituality and really promises of darkness, not promises of God. What God offers and has continued to offer is that you know yourself and that you be free. Free enough within your biology, capable of withstanding the emotional and psychological tension of existing within this world so that you may be liberated enough to model that liberation for others, that you may exist on this planet within the ideal of the ideal as it is delivered to you through your intuition. So that you may trust your real-time personal connection to God itself. The real God, not the God of religions, not the God of the Bible as it's been distorted and retranslated. Not the God that looks down angrily, and not the God that decides where you go after depending on whether or not you were good, but the God that is the truth of light in its totality, the God that you are also a piece of, the God that you were sent here by to fulfill the will of light to reclaim this planet from darkness. Because while light is okay with darkness existing as darkness, light is not okay with darkness bypassing the free will of others. Light is not okay with light not having choice. You feel how difficult it is here to be yourself. That is why you are here, but you have God's full backing to land the truth of your essence into your own biology and to radiate it out into this world through time by bringing the intelligence of your life's work into full fulfillment for the rest of your life. This is what's coming. This is what you've always known would be happening here, but it's taken some time because this psychological and emotional control technology runs very, very deep. But we watch every day as countless individuals within this population solidify into more of themselves as they liberate themselves to be able to be free. This is not a pipe dream. This is not a promise that we promise you. It is something that we are witnessing even now in others that have already gone before you and will continue to. But your role as the cutting edge is to go far before others will. Your world will not look how you want it to look for another 300 to 500 years, and you will not see that world in its totality, but you will see yourself bring exactly what you came here to bring, and you will feel the total and whole fulfillment of being capable of doing the impossible here, which is becoming a representation of God in a world that is darkness. Please understand your role. Please understand you are so far ahead you cannot even begin to comprehend it. And that the insecurity, the emotional tension, so much of it is the very thing you are liberating yourself from even now. So with that, we have a deep love and admiration for you. We hope we can continue to speak in some capacity into the future. We look forward to any opportunity we have to be able to expedite this journey in this way. so much love to you. And we hope to speak to you at a later time. Keep going, keep trusting, and welcome home. Bye for now.